The XOX70 is a gasket-mounted, screwless, function-row-less TKL. We've got hot swap and soldered PCBs with daughter boards. Hot swap has a fixed layout with a 7U spacebar, and solder can swap to stepped caps, split left shift, 6.25U spacebar, split backspace, ISO enter, and split right shift. We've also got the option for a split 3U spacebar, and as you saw before, the steps for that are provided. QMK and VIA are supported, and through them you can also change the badge light. We have 6 plate options with FR4, polycarbonate, and aluminum, each coming in either full or half plates. For colors, there are currently 7 options, but this will be trimmed down to 4 for the Group I. These include black and silver and blue, moss and black, plum and black, lilac and silver, white and yellow, and pink and black. Finally, the XOX70 will run you about $380. In this PCB are TX stabs looped with 205 grade 0 and BDZ. I'm going to add on the aluminum plate, and in here go white jade tactiles. These have been looped with 205 grade 0 only on the stem, and 105 grade 0 on the spring. With the inner assembly done, we can get to the case. Having a screwless design, the case assembly is a bit different from usual. The screws holding the top and bottom case together are on the top here. I'll install our gaskets. And finally, we can connect the daughter board, insert the inner assembly, and mount the top case back with the top screws. I'm going to use DCX white on black to highlight this pretty plum color. Before we go any further, I just want to say that we have a Discord. It's pretty dead at the moment. I'm not fooling anyone, it's very dead, but we plan on hosting events and VCs and stuff. It's a great place to chat with us and a bunch of other content creators here as well, and just generally really cool people, so be sure to check it out. Unorthodox case design comes with unorthodox sound, and for the XOX70, this is for the better. The sound without foam is really lively, albeit just a tiny bit hollow. I initially wanted to use white jades on an FR4 half plate, but the first PCB I received was scuffed, and the next was hot swap, so I had to settle for aluminum. Not really a good idea as the sound is very sharp in this configuration. If you choose a switch and plate combo that works well together, the sound will no doubt be excellent stock. I intend to rebuild this board with some high-pitched linears later on. Purely internal brass weights are contributing to the quality of sound here, and this was something seen with other great sounding boards like the F1. It's definitely more suited for the high-pitched side, although with enough effort you could probably get a decent thok as well. The feel is also pretty versatile. You don't need to use foams for good sound, so that definitely opens up the avenue for some huge flex. Using only the ESD protective foam and doing a half plate build is definitely the play if you want as much movement as possible, but I opted this time for less. The aluminum plate still has bounce because of the leaf springs and cuts on the gasket tabs. I'm a big fan of this because it's not stiff to the point of making the tactiles too harsh. Let's take a look at the design. On the top we've got uneven side bezels, being larger on the top and bottom. Above the arrows here is our RGB badge, slightly inlaid. Looking at the side, we can see that the top piece is level, while the typing angle is provided entirely by the bottom piece. This is embedded on every side. Towards the rear, we have this very strong curve that ultimately ends parallel to the top case. This makes for a very nice side profile in my opinion. In the center here is our recessed USB-C port, with a very interesting cut in the bottom case to accommodate it. Finally, the bottom has a large stylized XOX engraving. FRL TKL is one of my favorite layouts, simply because I love super wide looking boards. I would consider this design on the more simplistic side, just because there isn't a whole lot of accenting or things going on. It's just our neat little badge, fancy back curve, and bottom engraving. Internal weights are a compromise I'm willing to have for good sound. I absolutely love how versatile this board is. Unlike some other boards which are pretty much stuck to a certain sound or feel profile, the XOX70 will give you good results pretty much no matter what you throw at it. However, I think its worth is pretty up in the air, being almost $400 with not a whole lot of external flair. But with this level of sound without foam, this board is going to be one of my keepers, and might just be one for you as well.